Welcome back to the Centerway Society. There's no monotone this time. There's no monotone this week because we're actually introducing something a little bit different. I know we've predominantly done fan theories so far for our first 4 episodes, but we've decided to kind of expand on the show a little bit. And one of the things we wanted to do was introduce more a reactive episodes for the podcast, especially for new movies, especially ones that we just discussed. And with that in mind, we are going to be discussing Scream 6, which we all just saw about 2 nights ago. And of course, to help me, the initiated are, of course, here. We got Jordan, who is our Scream aficionado.
It was so good. So good.
And we got Dustin.
Yes, your Scream casual.
And then there's me, Rob. James is not here with us because 1, he did not see Scream, and also 2, he said to just go ahead and do this episode without him. So we're gonna do this episode without him.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about like a Scream react when you haven't seen 2 through 5 or the one that just came out.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, the idea of waiting for him to see all those movies was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
It's gonna be a while.
It would take too long, and then it would be past the point of even what's the point of doing the episode.
Yeah.
So Scream 6, as a person who is not really into horror or slasher movies, I thought it was a very good movie. I will probably never see it again.
Wow.
Really?
Oh, just right off the bat, just not seeing it again.
This is just, it's not for the fact that it's a bad movie or anything. It's just the fact
it's
that
not your thing.
It's not my thing. It was good to watch the one time. And if there's a 7 on the horizon, I will probably go see it with you guys. But it's not my jam. So like I spent enough of that movie just like completely anxiety riddled and just like, ugh. So I don't know if I could do it again.
I honestly thought you were more anxiety riddled during the trailers because we saw like the Evil Dead and you were like, ugh.
Yeah,
that one got you.
That one got me. I wasn't a fan of that.
Yep.
So
walking into the empty building during the Scream movie was like probably your scariest moment. I still have no idea why.
Like you literally saw a woman take a knife to the gut and twist, and you were like, empty building, man. Oof.
So scary.
Empty buildings are scary, man. Come on.
Okay.
Oh, that's fair.
But
how did you guys so Rob, you liked it. What about you, Dustin? Did you liked it?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. Like I know most people that watch a film series, especially one that's been going on as long as Scream, are like the first one's the best, but 4 was pretty much my favorite.
4 is the standalone. I think like we discussed this, the standalone best.
Yeah. And especially coming into it later, it was like I appreciated it the most because it's critiquing like its own series rather than horror movies in general. And this one I felt like was a really good callback to that one, as opposed to, just being kind of like a sequel in the series. Like it was very much, wrapping up the Hayden Panettiere, the Kirby story, and it was very cool. It was very cool. Yeah. I liked it a lot.
It was really well done, but it is a sequel. I mean, they play into the sequel a lot. If you look at Scream 2, because we got to remember 1, 2, 3 original trilogy, 4 was kind of a standalone, was supposed to start a new trilogy. It didn't.
Hey, Jordan.
Yep.
Before you continue, and I'm sorry, just for our listeners, I do want to say from here on out, if you didn't think about it ahead of time, heavy spoiler warnings from here on out, because we will be discussing specifics about the movie. I just want to make sure we give our listeners an opportunity to stop if they have not seen it yet and do intend to see Scream 6.
I figured we were going to put something in the beginning of the episode to be like, hey, spoilers.
I probably should have said that to begin with, right off the bat, but I didn't think about it. So just spoiler warning from here on out, guys.
Yep.
So.
Spoilies.
So many spoilies.
It's a react. We're not going to do a non-spoiler and then a spoiler because that would just be boring.
That's true.
But no, it's definitely a true sequel. Different than like the original trilogy, but it's a true sequel with a twist because so very early on you can definitely tell which new character is supposed to be the new original character from the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It takes no time. I mean, it's set up for you. This is, I mean, Scream 2, whatever you want to call her, Debbie Salt, Miss
Mrs.
Loomis, Nancy Loomis, which is her official name, even though they never say Nancy, it's just in the the fan wiki stuff. She was getting revenge for her son's death, even though he was a psycho. And we find out in this movie, spoiler alert, once again, real quick, guys, that Richie from Scream 5, it's his family, it's his father, it's his sister, it's his brother, that are the three killers. Also, first time there's been three killers.
Sure.
Kind of cool. So that's where there's the twist. But it's still family coming back to get revenge. They have scenes like that are reminiscent of being in the van from Scream 2, where Randy gets murdered. They literally bring it up. This is exactly how our uncle died in a van just like this one. You know, I think the biggest takeaway from it was outside of all of the like intros to the movie, this was probably the most creative. Because I don't know about you guys, but when that intro hit and like the woman gets killed, where everybody's expecting that. Because like Scream 4, they do the two false intros and then go into the real intro, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, oh, they got us. That was good. But this one, they do it and then fucking immediately mask off, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
What? A Ghostface takes his mask off right after a murder? What's going on here? And then it goes to the actual the actual crew of the Ghostface in this movie that go and then lead him to his death, even though he just did the same thing to like the film assistant professor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how they set the pace in that scene too, because what they're telling you is that they're going to take what you think is going to happen and then they're going to do the opposite, like right off the bat. Like this isn't going to be like a normal horror movie. Like right off the bat, she says something about like, if you have sex in a horror movie or a slasher movie, you're going to die, right?
Yeah.
And then right after that, it's like the daughter of the cop dies. I can't think of what her name is right at the moment.
Quinn.
Quinn. Yeah, she dies pretty early on. It's like, okay, this is standard slasher shit. And it's all just a red herring to set up like who the actual Ghostface is.
Yes, which was, once again, I mean, outside of Scream 1, where, Billy dies and then reveals himself as a Ghostface, like they haven't done that since then. And it wasn't the same as this, where it was like you believe she's slaughtered, and then you find out her father, who's in NYPD, like switches the body out because he gets in early, and they fucking do all this crazy shit, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? That was honestly a huge reveal that I was like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's like the guy, the kid, the son,
Ethan.
Ethan. Sorry. I kind of suspected him the entire time.
I think everybody
even
did.
on the train, it was just like something about his face.
Oh yeah.
Like, he just seemed like he was going to be like one of the bad ones. Wasn't I went back and forth between the detective and Kirby.
The boyfriend?
No,
you
Kirby,
really?
Actually. Yeah. I wouldn't have been surprised. I mean, think about it. She tells this whole like story of how, instead of living with the issues for all these times, she got better, and she wanted to go do something that was gonna, help her life, and became FBI, which, by the way, fucking Kirby becoming FBI, like, what the fuck?
That was kind of nuts.
It was kind of nuts out of nowhere. Yeah. But like you could see it, how, waited years and years and years, and then another event happens and it makes her go insane in the head, and then a year later she's going to the kid. Like you could see it play into that. So I was like, it's got to be one of those two. The boyfriend was really nothing to me. I don't know, he just didn't have that feeling of like a murderer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he played Adrian Chase in Arrow, and he ended up being a villain in that. So that's why I thought possibly.
I'm talking about the character from this movie, though. But
I understand. I'm talking about like sometimes with an actor,
they'll pigeonhole
they exactly as like a villain or something along those lines, which he has done a couple times. which is why I thought originally maybe. But then again, that also ties in with the like the sequel, like tying into the sequel. Like obviously Mrs. Loomis was one of the killers in Scream 2. Richie's dad is a killer in Scream 6. The boyfriend didn't do it
Yep.
in Scream 2, and the boyfriend didn't do it in Scream 6. I
Yep.
mean, it's kind of, yeah.
Not to mention we have our new Dewey, who is
We have our new
Chad.
Chad
He's
is the new Dewey.
And don't get me wrong, in the original Scream, he was supposed to originally die in the script, but Wes Craven decided to shoot 2 different endings where he lives. And
Yeah.
that's what like scored better with like people that were reviewing the movie. So
Yeah.
they went with that. And Scream 2, they were going to kill him off again. And he gets, I mean, out of all of the movies besides his death in 5,
That was so hardcore. I
his
thought
death
he
in
was
5 was rough.
was
But
supposed to be dead.
honestly, exactly. Dude, his death in 5 was, or his death scene in 5 was nothing compared to how fucked up he got in 2.
Oh God, yeah.
He got like massacred and somehow, oh, we got a pulse. It was literally a callback to Dewey with
Yeah.
Chad, because we all in the theater like, oh, they fucking massacred our boy. No, he just had the kiss. What the fuck? No.
He had like the
And then all of a sudden they should literally Jenna Ortega's character, Tara is sitting there. She's like, oh, Chad. And it's like, oh, we got one alive over here. And I was like, oh, fucking Dewey. Cool.
Yeah.
So I just want to say too, we all went into this with the expectation that like most of our main cast or like
the core
returning, Gail was gonna die. I don't know who
I thought
went into
Gail
this
was gonna
thing.
die.
But have you noticed Ghostface was the most brutal he's ever been in this movie, and almost nobody died. We have the therapist die.
Yeah.
we
The
have
therapist died.
We have the kid, the intro kid.
the intro kid, and Mandy's girlfriend.
Yep.
Right?
Is that it? That can't be it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. The Bodega Massacre, but it wasn't
Oh,
like
yeah.
it wasn't like a on purpose one. It was a.
But those were
it-
nameless,
Yeah.
like
They weren't like true characters to the movie. They were just in the way of Ghostface trying to get to Sam and Tara.
But
exactly.
it was more people getting stabbed and living through it. Like if Jaws made people afraid to go into the water, Scream 6 is going to make people not afraid of getting stabbed because like shit don't happen to you anymore.
Right.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say the amount of times that Chad got stabbed by Quinn and Ethan in the theater. How did he not die?
Well,
How
think of-
did he
think-
not?
Even more importantly, Ethan. He got stabbed like 7 times in the neck and then got stabbed through the mouth, through the back of the head, and then still came up the last second to get shot and killed.
He
at
didn't get
the end.
shot.
What? Oh no, sorry, the TV.
Kirby
scene,
threw
my
the
bad.
TV.
The TV scene. My bad.
Which, by the
but-
way, that
hilarious.
was fantastic.
That was great.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like he got stabbed like 7 times in the neck, through the mouth, and that didn't kill him.
No.
Yeah,
So Gail lived,
Gail lives. Yeah,
but we do have confirmation that Jill is dead.
Jill is dead. Yeah,
We got confirmation that Jill is dead. That was one of the theories that we had, was whether Jill was alive or not. But this movie has confirmed that Jill is dead.
Yep.
And there was a date of death for Stu, but Jordan is not convinced yet.
I'm not. I'm really not. And I know that's such a weird thing to say because I'm a hater on the Stu is alive theory. But at the same time, with the original Scream 3 like script, it was out there for him to come back to the series. Just because there is a whatever day of death on here. I think if you go back to like the Mindy and Kirby conversation about like Stu,
Yeah.
it leaves it more open than it does. Like they didn't slam the book on it.
They did
weren't
that
like,
on
They
purpose,
weren't like,
man.
no, he's dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they showed his date of death.
Yeah, and that's
So
fine.
this-
But they could have said right there, like they could have, if the
We could have talked
writers-
about there was a funeral or something along those
if
lines.
Kevin
to make
Williams,
it-
if Kevin Williamson wanted to close the door on the Stu theories in that conversation, when they're talking about it, Kirby could have been like, no, he's 100% dead. It's, I've visited his grave, something like that.
Yeah.
That was 100% on purpose though, because like if they really wanted to shut the door, they'd be like, he's dead and buried. But no, they leave it open. And plus, if he was still alive, right, would everyone know that he was still alive and not address it? Or would he have like faked his death, or everybody thinks he's dead or something? Like it's just an incident. Like
Yeah.
Right.
it doesn't make as much sense for it to.
If
Yeah,
they
play
never
it
would
out
have
that
done the
way.
original Scream 3 script
Yeah.
and then got rid of it, he's dead. But because they did that, and I know they got rid of it, so it's not technically canon. But there was a right for him to come back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's my issue with it. They still haven't closed the door. Like they slammed the door and then the door slightly opened up.
The door got slammed, but it also bounced back open.
Just a
So,
little bit. Just a hair.
Just a little bit. So,
Just a hair. Yeah. So I mean, we got the family killers again, which is great because they did that. I mean, it worked. So family killers in Scream
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Unknown family killer in Scream 3. You didn't know that was going to come, and it was kind of a cool like
That's
way
true.
that they did the saga. Scream 4, it was family killers.
Yeah.
Killer, but like not the way they did in like 2, where it was like
Yeah.
the mother for revenge or like that. It was like very much I deserve my 15 minutes of fame because you've had 15 years.
Yeah.
And you're writing a book and you're doing all this stuff and I want to be you. I mean, she has the whole fucking monologue, the Emma Roberts monologue that I literally wanted to at one point sample back when I was playing metalcore and put it into part of a breakdown right before, like the one liner that's like, this was never about it was about becoming you, and you're like, fuck yeah. Wanted to sample that years and years ago. So a different type of family killing, not for revenge.
Yeah.
But so I mean, they follow in the footsteps. It's literally, I mean, they take from a little bit of every movie, truthfully. They really do.
That was really good though. Honestly,
Dark, like people saying darkest and like goriest Scream, I can agree with that.
yeah. I'd
If
see
you
it.
think about the other ones, they're a little more campy.
I mean,
this
you
one
had your
was-
campy parts, but like not like super. Like this was definitely a really well written and really well acted movie.
Yeah, and like Jenna Ortega's character, Tara from Scream 5 to this, it literally seemed like in Scream 5 she was like 13. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys got that feeling. It just seemed like
No,
immaturity.
yeah, she did seem like a very young girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
started this movie, as Sam kept saying over and over, you're not dealing with your problems, you're not dealing with your problems, and very immature about it. But then like you see like her mature through the movie, and you're like, oh fuck, she's actually going to college. Why did I think she was 13 in the last movie? It's probably because she was just being a little bitch the entire time.
Probably.
Question for both of you: are you sold on Sam yet? Like when you went into this movie, are you rooting for her? Like, I really hope she's gonna make it. Like, does that make any sense?
I am still completely convinced that something's going to snap in her and she's going to wind up being a killer. Especially at the end when she's holding her father's mask.
And the
I'm-
freak out moment at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And where she actually put on the ghost face disguise to kill Richie's dad.
And that's the issue, man. Like, if you want to kill somebody in self-defense, I am all for it. You can kill them quickly. You can. That woman sliced him like 20 times and
Easy.
like around the arms, like full like wingspan arm. And he's
But
sitting
she
there
was
bleeding, like-
also going around the vest because he was
Yeah.
wearing a bulletproof vest.
yeah.
So
But it, like, dude, she was like, I mean, she was stroking that knife at him pretty good.
Yeah.
It was it just felt excessive. It felt excessive with how many stabs she did, just like when she killed Richie.
I know this doesn't like work under the same rules as everybody else. Like this isn't real life and shit.
Yeah.
But if you walk away from a scene like that and they look at the body and they're like, you stabbed him like 50, 60 times, you don't just walk away.
Usually don't.
like, yeah, it's self-defense, but I mean,
But I
That's not
sliced into him.
self-defense at that
Like,
that's
point.
a lot of self-defense.
I never thought to count it from Scream 5, but she brings it up how at the therapist scene in the beginning, how she stabs him 22 times and then shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
I was like, was it really 22 times? And that's why his dad gets like so angry about it, because he's like, well, I saw the body, and once I saw like the report, like this was a murder, because
Yeah.
it's like it's so excessive. Like, yeah, Richie's a shitty person, but it's still like a damn, dude, you chopped him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
Massacred my boy.
Yeah, I know. I think she has some. I mean, she clearly has the blood of Ghostface in her. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
She's Billy Loomis's child. I don't know if they're going to play into that in Scream 7. I know I was reading some articles earlier today where they were talking about possibly extending the series further than 7, with like 8, 9, 10, possibly. So if they're doing that, they're either going to have to keep these characters like longevity. Because
Well, yeah,
they-
why not though? You know, if people are still going to see him, like
Yeah.
keep making them.
mean,
Yeah,
people are
but-
still going to see Fast and Furious at this point. I mean, so why the
Yeah,
hell?
they're going to be in
space.
space soon.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Well, they already
yeah.
were. Holy shit, they went into space. I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
They did.
Yeah.
But you would have to keep this cast, right? You can't recast. Look, I'm just gonna tell you one thing. The legacy characters are pretty much gone. Gail barely made it out of this movie. They did a whole bullshit thing for Sid with her and Mark getting away with the kids and not getting close to this. That's great. I like where they did that. That's fine. That's no problem. Dewey's gone. No one original is here anymore. We're not even going to call Kirby original because she was part of what was supposed to be the new trilogy.
Yeah,
She's second gen.
She's
Yeah.
second gen. These characters are technically what would be considered third gen.
Yeah.
You cannot recast these characters after building their story for 2 movies after a third movie. And because like they barely got away with it from leaving the old cast. They still had to have the original members of the old cast in 5 for it to work.
True.
Now they're building their new cast after 7. If that's where it ends for this cast, I think the franchise dies after that, because you're not going to get you're going to be wearing it thin of how often or how much like a Scream fan wants to watch this if you keep redoing the fucking characters every 3 movies now.
I think it depends how strong the cast becomes and how they're following. Jenna Ortega, I mean,
Huge.
could eventually like carry the load, like Courtney Cox did, because her popularity and her fame lend credence to the Scream franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Jenna Ortega at this point playing Wednesday Addams, who's rumored to be in Daredevil Born Again, who's like, she's getting like roles.
So the mouse got her.
The mouse got her. Reeled her in.
Reeled her right in.
But I mean, there's a possibility like her fame can lend credence to the new trilogy or the new way of doing things or the new movies that come out. So it's possible that it could survive after the OG cast fades away.
Right.
Because how many people are like screaming like, oh, it's not Scream without Dewey, especially now that we have a new Dewey.
We have new Dewey. That's the thing. We have Chad, and I think that's what they were trying to do with it, is like be like, because he got hurt in the first movie, or the 5th movie pretty bad too, didn't he? Not like as bad as this one, but he definitely got injured.
Didn't he get like
he went to go find his girlfriend out in the woods?
Yep, exactly, and he got attacked.
stabbed.
Yeah,
but he survived that one, so kind of like they're literally just replacing his character.
Yeah.
So it's fine. I like them enough. I like that they're doing a love interest type thing because with hold on, with the new Gale Weathers, which is Jenna Ortega's character, and with the new Dewey.
Yep.
Think about it. So there's clearly some formula there that they're trying to repeat, which is kind of what Scream does to begin with.
Sure.
What are your guys' predictions for Scream 7? I know we talked a little bit about this already, but like, where do you guys see it going? Rob, I know you're pretty much stuck on the Sam Carpenter is gonna flip a switch and go psycho.
I think she is, but at the same time, with the fact that she's the new Sydney, it makes me kind of also pause, because she seems to enjoy the killing a lot more than Sydney ever did. And that's what scares me about her character.
I don't know, man. Sydney and Scream 2, though. Think about it. Sydney and Scream 2 was like, do you know what I did to Billy?
Yeah, but that was also like antagonizing.
Oh yeah, she was someone was trying to murder her. Yeah.
So like this was like no talking, no trying to antagonize the ghost face. It was
straight up.
I'm gonna
fight you.
But that's the thing. Tara or whatever, when she killed Ethan, did you guys not notice? Like, it seemed like there was just a little glimmer.
Oh, there definitely was. Yeah.
Her eyes lit up, man. She was enjoying it.
So I don't know. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with this?
Dude, what if like Sam and Tara like both become new Ghostface and start killing their friend group off?
No, this isn't a prediction, but they are obviously setting up Sam at least to eventually become a ghost face or start killing people in some fashion, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it too obvious? Like, it's got to be a red herring at this point. I know this movie specifically was all about taking the obvious, putting it right in front of you, and then saying, oh, it couldn't possibly be that, and then actually revealing it is.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you think that they could do that over the course of this newer trilogy? Take 3 movies to go, hey, she's becoming the serial killer, and then she actually becomes the serial killer?
So, like I
It's got to
touched
be a
on,
misdirect.
yeah, like I touched on earlier, if they're going to do an 8, 9, and all that, and extend it like further, I can see them setting up for it now, and eventually she gets to that point. If it's because think about like a character like Sydney, she went through 5 fucking movies, went through decades of people getting slaughtered around her. For her to have the mental capacity to not like flip a switch is actually more impressive than anything. If you really think
Sure.
about it from like a mental health standpoint, very impressive.
Yeah.
Let's just say the next gen is not as strong there. Is like I'm gonna leave it at that. They're not as strong when it comes to like mental health, I think, personally.
Wouldn't it be cool if
Not
Sydney
not
has
not
to?
every hold on. Let me before I get canceled. Not people in the real world, like the perception of them, and I think in like especially the perception of movies and TV shows. Let me say it like that because it just sounded like I was like, trying to say Gen Z just don't have the mental health capacity, and that's not the case.
How cool would it be if Sam really does go off the rails and Sydney has to come in and kind of wrap up the whole thing?
Ooh.
Like
Oh
it's
my
her final outing.
Dude,
Like this is my family, my problem.
you know what I would like
gotta
even more
die.
than that
Yeah. What?
is if after all these years, Sid and her husband, who is Detective Mark from Scream 3, what if they flip and they're the new Ghostface? How cool would that be?
No,
I can dream. A boy can dream.
you can dream, but
Okay.
I just don't see that at all.
I think it would be if they were to do that. One, you'd have to do it right. It would have to be like you cannot fuck it up. But if they did it, it would be the craziest reveal in all of Scream.
Yeah, but do they have the money to bring back Patrick Dempsey?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, after this movie already broke some records, I think, is what they said on the opening.
It's not even number 1 at the box office right now.
No. As far as horrors, the box office is a whole different thing. For horrors, they never do well, like as far as
Yeah.
like numbering. But for specifically horror, slasher, whatever movies you want to call it, it's doing very well compared to what
Yeah,
like
but when
other movies have
you
done.
gotta get a leading man like Patrick Dempsey to come in to reprise a role. I mean, that's gonna take them stroking a check. So
I mean, yes and no. You can put someone who is not Patrick Dempsey in the Ghostface outfit for the entire movie because it would like the reveal you could only really show Sid. So like
Yeah.
realistically, you show him the last final scene, they can pay that.
there we go.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
So
Because you never really see like I mean, you see them throughout the movie, the killers, but like
Yeah.
they're still not even in the movie that much.
So here's my question before we wrap up this entire episode. Before we move on to really what is the final question that I have for you guys tonight. Is that the stupidest post-credit scene that you've ever seen in the history of the world?
Yes and no. Stupidest because I waited for it and I was hoping it would be something fucking cool. Like, hey, they're showing like for instance, a theory that we discussed that my wife brought up while we were watching the movie, which is you see all this stuff happening in the final scene. They're in the room. Yeah. The detective literally brings up the fact that there's security cameras in the room. Is it possible that in the next movie, this stuff's going to be leaked and it shows Sam fucking doing the 37 stabs to him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was hoping it would be something like that, especially when we're all in the theaters, we're talking about it. There's people behind us that are like, yo, is there a post-credit screen? I'm like, yeah, man, stay for it. And then for it to be like, not every movie has to have a post-credit screen. I was so disappointed in my life. That was like, it pissed me off, but at the same time, it was pretty fucking funny.
It was the most Scream thing you could have done, though.
Yeah. It is.
It's a series that satires, the horror genre and movies in general. If it was any other movie, I'd be like, fuck this. That was dumb.
Yeah,
like you wasted my time. Yeah. Oh my God. If one of the Marvel movies did that at this point where they were just like, oh, these stupid assholes are still sitting in the movie theater,
they'd get canceled.
Yeah.
But that's what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy, where you waited all throughout the entire credits, waiting to see what's going to come next. Because the next big thing was one of the Avengers movies, I think, after Guardians of the Galaxy, where Excuse me. And then it's Howard the Duck. I mean,
Well, no, didn't they do? I thought Guardians did a reveal of Thanos, didn't they? In one of the
No.
cutscenes.
no, it was Howard the Duck.
Well, he was like in the background and stuff like during the movie. I don't know. Like it was a waste of a post credit scene, but
Yeah.
it wasn't on the same level of not every movie has to have a post credit scene.
Yeah, a quick little 3-second snippet.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
All right.
But
So, guys, where do you put this? There's now obviously 6 movies. Where do you put this in the hierarchy of levels for as far as best movie, as far as Scream is concerned?
it's really hard for me. I'm a huge fan of the series, like we've talked about. I think you have to stay true to it. The series one always has to be number one. That's my opinion of it. One is you don't get these movies without one. You don't. It's the OG Billy Loomis, Stu Macher. You got Randy being a fucking movie buff, working at a movie theater, which Jamie Kennedy literally did. He was, if you guys don't know this, he was like part of the Blockbuster International like promotion team with like Jim Gaffigan and stuff back in the day. So like
What?
it's oh yeah, you didn't know this?
No,
Yep,
had no idea.
He also studied Quentin Tarantino to do this role because Quentin Tarantino was someone else who worked in a movie shop first.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like one is always going to be top tier. It's S tier, is what some people call it.
Yeah.
I am right now. I told you guys on Friday night that 3 was always going to be my number 2, only because I can't put it number 1. But I'm right now in a fighting battle between 6 and 3 for number 2. Like I think it's that good. I think it easily for me is number 2 or number 3.
Dustin, what do you think?
As a Scream casual, as I introduce myself, I've always thought 4 was my favorite, and 1 was like right there with it. This one is in second or third place, wherever you want to put that. I really did enjoy it. I can't say it's the best one that's ever come out, but it's damn close.
It had the best, like, I know we talked about how like there weren't a ton of killings, but it
Mhm.
had the best like stab moments of any fucking Scream I've ever seen.
The intensity of Ghostface in this
Yeah.
film. Okay, so I'm not trying to rant here, but like Halloween Kills, I was so excited for it. Michael Myers is like one of my favorite slasher, characters or whatever.
Sure.
And then Kills come out, and it was kind of stupid. Like he's fighting so head on and taking people, like it almost felt like a wrestling match, if that makes sense. And this one I felt like did it right. It was very dark and gritty and just no fucks given.
The fucking scene where the knife goes into the stomach and then they show you the twist and the music. Oh, dude, that was like, I was like, holy shit, they're trying.
Stealing the shotgun and chasing them
Yes.
throughout the convenience store, probably one of the coolest movies in
On
or
the-
moments in the
yeah,
Scream series.
On the edge of your seat, wondering what happens next. And that rarely happens for me with a Scream movie.
yeah, it
Rob,
broke
what
all
about-
the rules.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about you, Rob?
Uh,
For you, this is really good because like I'm a mega fan. You're not a huge fan of the series, but you just watched essentially 1 through 6 in the matter of a month.
I would have to say that as much as I might get, and I've been thinking about this all weekend. I was
Okay.
talking to a buddy of mine who's a big Scream fan. As much as I like to like adhere to the original as probably the best because it sets the rules and it sets the stage and it sets the foundation for the movie. The more I think about it, the more I think this movie surpasses it.
You like
In my
this for number
opinion.
1?
Yes.
Wow.
I think it is a better movie, even though the foundation is there based on the first movie. I think it is a better acted movie. I think it is a better written movie. I think it is while there is some camp to it, it's not
Not a
nearly
lot.
as campy
Not a lot.
as the original Scream trilogy. I honestly think if I had to, this is probably the best one, my opinion, personal
Wow.
opinion.
That's fair.
It's good to have the foundation in Scream 1, but this I think surpasses it because I think it was actually just that good of a movie.
Nice.
Wow.
So, that's going to be all for us, welcome to, this is our first episode of Reacts. If you like it, let us know. If you don't like it, don't let us know. I don't want to hear it. We will be doing these periodically when movies come out. We'll be doing React episodes. If you have any questions, if you want to hear something else, if you want to go back to fan theories, reach out to us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Centerway Society. You can also reach us at centerwaysociety@gmail.com. You can find us over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. Like, share, subscribe, all of that nonsense. We'll be back next week with some more fan theories, and we will see you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See.